Let us introduce the reporters of the IEER of the Global Academic Zone, starting with Ms. Leah Navarro for introduction,
Ms. Meijei Bagangao for project description,
Mr. Marcial Buladaco for land component,
Ryan Castaneto for water component,
Ms. Kim Ludovise for noise and air component,
Emmanuel Olatunji for hazard and climate change component,
and Ms. Reeden Bicomong for the people component.
last but not the least, Ms. Grace Reynoso for
The people component.
So without further ado, let us now proceed to the presentation proper of the IEER of the Global Academic Zone.
So a pleasant morning to everyone, especially to our distinguished guests. So we are now presenting the output of the initial environmental examination for the Global Academic Zone. So this is the outline of our presentation. So taking the glimpse of the proposed project. The IEE is conducted for the portion of the proposed Global Academic Zone of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, inclusive of the following buildings: Office of the University Registrar of the Communal Classroom Building, Library and Knowledge Center, and Parking Building. This is to be located at Victoria M. Elia Road, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, at the Makiling current site of Makiling School Incorporated, with the area of around 1.4 hectares. So this is the map, the location map. So the Global Academic Zone is a concentration of infrastructure which aims to develop the students to be globally and internationally competitive in the field of researches and academic opportunities worldwide. The Office of the University Registrar is the flagship project to address the growing concerns of lack for classroom and improve facilities such as classroom amenities as well as the university's IT system. So the shift from education system, from general education to the outcome-based education, asks the university to upgrade the infrastructure and improve the learning and teaching environment. And the construction of the library and the learning center aims to further upgrade the current limited facility with the non-obstructive studying as well as for the academic discussion areas, better access to information and enabling environment that encourage the development of lifelong learning skills, collaboration, and creativity. So the project components include the Office of the University Registrar or the Communal Classroom Building, Library and Knowledge Center, Parking Building, and the surrounding open spaces. So the project cost 284,107,986.44 centavos for the Office of the University Registrar, while for the Library and Knowledge Center, the budget is 386,973,148 pesos. And this project will last for 4 years, starting from 2017, and it will end up on 2021. So this is the method employed in the study, the initial environment examination, and this was conducted on June 23 up to July 21, 2017, with the following activities. And this was prepared by the EIA team, composed of the students in the ENS 296 class for this mid-year term.
So for this project, with the project site shaded in red and its influence to the entire university, the entire UPLB campus has been identified as the primary impact area, in addition to the Malawin Creek, where the discharge of the UPLB centralized effluent is being discharged. For the secondary impact, there is a 200 perimeter along the project site in consideration with the noise, and a 500 meter perimeter around the project site in consideration of the traffic. So the following slides would show to you the site development plan and the space design that was prepared by the OVCPD. So for the Office of the University Registrar in the Communal Classroom, here it is. It has a project dimension of 2,000 square meters land area, 6,000 square meters building area from the total of 4 floors. As shown in this figure in the site development plan, the OUR and Communal Classroom would adopt the wing type design. Also shown is a very wide promenade wherein the vegetation would be allowed to grow. the left wing of the building with respect to where the building is facing is where the office of the university registrar will be. So ma'am, your office would be located on this area along near the archives, the meeting room, and the pantry. In this area is the registration one shop for the students, and near it is the student lounge or waiting area while doing the registration. Near it is a concession where food stalls could be located, and the right wing of the building is comprised of lecture rooms. The rest of the building's second floor, third floor, and fourth floor are all comprised of classrooms and lecture rooms. So for the space design of the classrooms, it would adapt that of Fisher, wherein different teaching styles would be adopted in the space design, including decision-making, creating, and communicating. For the University and Library Center, here is the site development plan. It has a total land area of 8,000 square meters, 8,530 square meters building area from the total of 3 floors. So from the site development plan, shown is a very wide general circulation area with a mezzanine. And also near it is a lobby or chill area for those students who are already stressed from studying. Here is the utility room, maintenance, internet server room near the front desk, and a conference room on the other side of the area. The rest of the floors would comprise of the journal room, the archives, the Filipiniana section. And the top floor would comprise of the laboratory, of the computer laboratory working area together with the rooftop garden. In the second floor, there is also an available photocopy area for the students. As I mentioned a while ago, the top floor would comprise of a wide chill area or a rooftop garden near the computer laboratory. For the communal classroom also, they are proposing a design guideline of the Learning Commons and the Learning Street, wherein the Learning Commons, it would encourage intentional learning between the students and the teachers, and for the Learning Streets, they are encouraging accidental learning, or that learning coming from curiosity. So for the parking building area, with our communal classroom having 18 classrooms and 6,000 square meters, and with the library having an 8,350 square meters, according to the ratio that had been conducted by RULO in 2013 with regards to the parking adequacy in the university, there is a need of 1 slot parking for every 4 classrooms and 1 slot per 108 square kilometers. With this situation alone, excluding all other buildings in the area, there is a need of 137 slots of parking area. With this, we are proposing a very high-end technology of using an automized parking system for our parking building, which all of us could use. So for the project phases, it would adopt the same mechanism with one of the projects going a year ahead of the other. So for the phase 1 and for the phase 2. Also, for these project phases and for the pre-construction, these are amongst the ways that are identified, most of which are non-hazardous. For the construction phase, for the operational phase, and for the abandonment phase. Other than the construction workers after the bidding, these are among the manpower that are identified for each building after the commencement of the project.
Now for the land part, these are the methodologies for gathering the baseline data for the different land components. So the proposed site is inside the UPLB, and currently the Makiling School Incorporated occupies the proposed site as shown in the project area map. MSI is an educational institution composed of preschool, grade school, and high school departments, and these are some of their facilities inside the Makiling complex. Pending to the complete transfer of the MSI to a new location, the proposed project has not yet started. However, there is no change in the land use category of the site after project completion. And the region is within a volcanic terrain of Mount Makiling, which is a composite volcano belonging to the so-called Macolod Corridor. Mount Makiling consists of mostly lava flows and pyroclastic materials lumped by the DNR as Quaternary volcanics, also called as the Laguna Formation. Now for the geomorphology, It is undulating and rolling moderately dissected flat area at the foot slope of Mount Makiling. So this map shows the soil type and the topographic map of the area. The soil type of the area is lipalong, which is moderate to well-drained, and the topography is level to nearly level in terms of slope. The elevation is within the 20 to 40 meters above sea level. With this, the area has a moderate infiltration rate and level slope, which causes no apparent erosion and flooding, as shown as in the erosion map and the flooding map. In terms of the engineering classification of structural design, the soil type of all the UPLB is within the class site D, which means the area has steep soil, which poses a medium hazard risk for building structures. For the construction phase, the activity of paving and surface excavation by manual or heavy equipment would cause soil erosion, so we have to implement sediment control plans and proper slope and drainage management measures and stockpiling procedures, which is the responsibility of the contractor and the UPLB OBCPD. The same activity could cause permanent soil loss, so we have to identify the proper soil disposal site, and the topsoil must be returned in the majority of the areas that are disturbed. In terms of the vegetation site, the Makiling School Incorporated is a landscape area comprising of mixed fruit trees, shade, and ornamental vegetation. So this is the location map of all the palms and trees within the project site. This is the summary of the flora within the project site. So there is a total of 88 species of flora, 5 of which are threatened species and 4 of which are endemic species. So this is the list of the threatened and native flora species within the Philippines. So site clearing would cause removal of the mature trees, including native species. So we have to avoid cutting trees located at the perimeter, but if we have to cut them, we have to comply with the DNR EO 23 and the MC 2012-02. Same activity would also cause loss of understory vegetation, so potted plants with economic importance have to be transferred to a temporary area. Also, it would generate biodegradable waste from the removed vegetation, so we have to observe proper waste management. And contractors must be oriented with the guidelines of the UPLB on the solid waste management. So this is a summary of the fauna found within the project site. So we have a total of 55 species and 13 of which are endemic species. So these are the endemic birds found in the project site. These are the introduced and invasive species found within the project site. The biology team did a 2-night live trapping, but they failed to trap any rodents. However, there is a high possibility that the area is being visited by rodents, especially our Asian house rat. So we have to observe proper waste disposal to avoid the increase in numbers of these rodents. So the debris produced from site clearing and surface excavation would cause loss of wildlife access, possible entrapment of ground-dwelling species. So we have to designate appropriate area for the disposal of the debris and properly fence the construction area. The noise and the vibrations generated during construction could disrupt the foraging and echolocating bats and communication of the birds and amphibians in the area. So we have to minimize the noise of the construction equipment. For the monitoring plan, we have to monitor the species diversity and the diversity count within the area using an inventory of all the existing species.
Good day. I'll be discussing the water quality and freshwater biology of the concerned with the project. So 2 water bodies were considered for this project, and these are firstly groundwater, wherein the campus taps directly into groundwater sources using leaf wells, primarily used for drinking, laboratory use, irrigation, and watering of plants. So second water body the team considered is that Malawin Creek, which is under Class C waters, and the Malawin Creek is also a tributary of Laguna de Bae. Currently, because the sewage treatment facilities of the university is non-functional, UP directly releases its water waste into the Malawin Creek. So this is a generated map of Malawin Creek here, and this is the project area, which is roughly around 200 meters away from several portions of Malawin Creek. Depending on the literature that you're reading, secondary data would suggest that there is a certain level of water pollution present in Malawin Creek. The team, in order to confirm this data, we sampled two sites. Site 3, which is behind the Student Union Building, and Site 4, which is located at the Broken Hanging Bridge. Now, we cannot say that this represents the entirety of the Malawin Creek because these are only two sampling sites, but considering the timeline that we have in the resources and manpower, these were the only sites that we were able to access and sample. So the team used immature insects or macroinvertebrates as biological indicators for primary data, and our data suggests that there is substantial water pollution in Malawin Creek. For the next couple of slides or several slides, I'll be discussing the potential impacts and also the possible mitigation measures that can be done for the project. So for the pre-construction phase, a certain level of siltation of the creek waterways will be expected due to site clearing and excavation. So a possible mitigation measure would be proper fencing of the construction site, river reclamation, and lining the banks with vegetation, especially endemic species here in the area. So, the responsible entity will be the contractor and OVCP. Another impact of site clearing and excavation would be the clogging of drainage systems. This can cause temporary flooding in the area, if possible, and which can cause inconvenience to our students and faculty alike. The same mitigation measures can be done, and also for the construction phase, it's almost the same with the pre-construction phases. So siltation of the creek waterways. The impact here is from waste discharge in the construction phase, contamination of groundwater due to improper disposal of waste. Possible mitigation measures during this phase is the establishment of an in-house septic tank, proper management of domestic and industrial waste, portable toilets for the construction workers, and the adoption of the aquatic macrophyte bioabsorption system in the creek waterway. Waste discharge can also lead to leaching of diesel oil paints and other chemicals into surface waters and also into the groundwater. The same mitigation measures can be done. Of course, since UP direct taps into groundwater resources, it can be expected that there will be competition for these groundwater resources. So proper management and use of allowed sources of water during construction, and of course an establishment of rainwater harvester systems in the project area. With regards to the waste discharge, contamination of waterways, establishing in-house septic tanks, and of course the rehabilitation of the non-functional sewage treatment plant here in UP, proper collection of solid waste, adoption of the MBS, competition for the groundwater resources. For the decommissioning phase, it's the same with the construction phase. There will be a certain level of siltation of creek waterways. So the same mitigation measures are proposed, and also for the flooding that can happen.
The assessment for the baseline of air includes the meteorological data, air quality, and noise level at the project site. Secondary meteorological data were gathered from the National Agrometeorology Station of UPLB and at Pag-asa, while both air quality and noise level were primary data analyzed through a third-party ISO laboratory accredited for the air quality and sound monitoring device for the noise. So the project is located in Laguna, classified in the modified corona system under type 1 climate, having two distinct seasons. It is dry from November to April or May with the northeast trade wind, amihan, is prevailing and wet during June to October where the southwest monsoon or habagat and typhoon season prevails. The baseline precipitation or rainfall at the project site was assessed through the historical data from 1985 to 2015, wherein minimum monthly rainfall amount recorded was 35.42 millimeters on February and a maximum of 335.43 millimeters for July. An increasing trend can be observed at the start of the year until June, peaks at July and gradually decreases starting by the month of October. Likewise, a mean annual rainfall of around 2,116 mm in Los Baños was recorded from the 30-year historical data, lowest of which was on 1997 with 1,383 mm and the highest was 3,017 mm at the year of 1985. Ambient temperature at the area was also traced for baseline assessment. An annual average temperature of 27.52 degrees Celsius was noted. The lowest was during 1993 at 27.20 degrees Celsius and the highest was 28.20 degrees Celsius during 1998. Generally, the monthly temperature trend is low at the start of the year, increases during mid-year or summer, then gradually cools down as December approaches. The highest monthly temperature in Los Baños, based on the historical data, was during May, while the lowest was during January. A windrows diagram is adopted to map the prevailing wind direction whole year round in Los Baños. Record shows that the direction comes from the northeast with an average wind speed of 3.58 kilometers per hour at 1 meter height observation. It is during March and September that the highest and lowest monthly average wind speeds of 4.35 kilometers per hour and 2.53 kilometers per hour were recorded. The frequency of tropical cyclones that enter the Philippine area of responsibility is presented in the figure. Based on the 25-year data gathered by Pag-asa, the average annual tropical depression, tropical storm, and typhoon were 4, 6, and 9 respectively. It was during the year 1990, 1994, and 2004 that the highest number of typhoon occurrences were observed, and all with a total hits of 40. For the quality of air, the ambient condition is necessary to know the extent of pollution within the area. Measurement was determined at one sampling location with the basic air quality parameters. So here it is. Suspended particles are those that tend to remain suspended in the atmosphere for long periods of time and are generally smaller than 30 micrometer in diameter. Both the sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen dioxide are prominent air pollutants and can be found on traffics and other fuel combustion processes. So the ENR has set limits for these air pollutants. Although the project site is along the road, results show that the ambient air quality passed the standard. Dust generation would be the most significant impact throughout the phase of the project as an effect of the demolition and construction. Therefore, mitigation should be implemented such as erection of solid barriers at the boundary site, protection of stockpiles, the use of water trucks for dust suppression, implementation of speed limits, use of tarpaulins, and the use of existing road networks so that soil and mud are not trucking to the roads, and dampening a road, especially during the dry season. Monitoring through regular maintenance checks will be conducted to ensure that vehicles and equipments have complied with the standards of the DNR for the emission testing requirements. And for the noise, it is within the vicinity of the project site that was assessed based on the guidelines set by the National Pollution Control Commission through the Memorandum Circular Number 2 of Series of 1980. So noise was measured at 4 corners of the project site at specific time frames, and it can be noted that the project area is alongside a busy road of UPLB, the Kaliwa route, significantly affected by the noise within its vicinity. So indeed, a 24-hour monitoring noise level range from 39 to 58.4 decibels and beyond the limit from which the project is categorized. And here is the list of the possible construction equipments that will be used during the construction. Hence, noise is a significant impact at the project and must be addressed. So namely, the notification of the proposed construction to the affected areas, the construction of noise barriers, and the selection of noise-efficient equipment to minimize noise during construction. So the building administrator will be the one responsible for the public information. And daily monitoring of noise at noise-sensitive area at the project site will be conducted so it can be controlled.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be discussing the hazard analysis. So the Philippines has major 3 F3 generators. So the first one is the subduction zone, the active faults, and active volcanoes. But regarding the project area, it has 3 major ones that are around it, which is the the West Valley Fault, which is somewhere up here, and then the Philippine Fault here, and then the Manila Trench, which is here. But the closest one to the project area is the West Valley Fault, which is somewhere up here, about 19 to 21 kilometers to the project site. So with regards to the vulnerability to earthquake, the project site vulnerability to earthquake is low. It's low, and then but with regards to the induced shallow landslide due to the earthquake, it's medium. The reason it's medium is because of the 3 earthquake generators that are surrounding the project area here. So also with regard to ground shaking, because the West Valley Fault is closer to the project area, the West Valley Fault is capable of generating the intensity of 8 level ground shaking, which is from 7.4 magnitude of earthquake. And because of this, the project area also is located at level 8 zone. So which means that the project area is prone to destruction after ground shaking. Liquefaction map. So for a liquefaction, the project area is located at a lower campus part, which has no susceptibility to liquefaction because 3 meters inwards to the earth crust is dense and sandy layer and also stiff and hard silt. For rain-induced landslide, the project area also has no susceptibility to rain-induced landslide. So the project area is located at a medium location for a volcano. The reason of this is because even though the Mount Makini is not active, but the Mount Banaha and the Tau volcano, they are considered, according to a field volcano, they are considered as active because they have been active in the past 600 years, and because they both are closer to the project site. Mount Banaha, it's 26 kilometers to the project site, and Tau volcano is 30 kilometers to the project site, but they can be affected slightly, mostly by harsh fall if at all is any activity. And the typhoon, the project area is located at the high vulnerability part, can be affected by typhoon. So due to this, due to the fact that the project site is susceptible to some of these hazards, we have some management plan that was taken from the UPLB management response that was organized due to the global academic zone. So with regards to earthquake, it's most like the usual tips. So in case of earthquake, individuals that are within the building can hide themselves under the table and hold on until the shake has stopped. Or another one they can do is, if there is no table to hide under, they can hide themselves in a corner and cover their hands with their hair. That's one of the tips that was gotten from the process. And in case of fire, for fire, there will be fire extinguishers all within the building. So in case it is a small fire, they can use the fire extinguishers depending on the kind of fire, because but usually it's CO2 that's used universally for all type of fire. And if it is a larger fire, you first of all try to alarm other people, and also you can click on the fire alarm, and also contact the fire service to come to the aid. Then for power failure, in terms of power failure, if it is unannounced, the first thing that can be done is to make sure you shut down all switch and also all appliances. And when it returns, you have to make sure that there are no damages outside, and then you can try to reset all appliances. Climate change. So with regards to the report of the IPCC fifth assessment report, according to that report, they took into the consideration the A1B scenario, wherein they were looking at mid-range emission scenario, taking into consideration all balance of energy use. So they used 2 slices, which is 2020 and 2050. 2020 was looking into from 2006 to 2035, and 2050 was looking into from 2036 to 2065. So based on the baseline here, you see that the seasonal temperature for 2020 and 2025 are both higher than the baseline. So which means it's expected that the temperature will be increasing as time goes by. And also for the seasonal rainfall increase by percentage, based on the baseline, from December, January, and February are a little bit below the baseline, and March, April, May, but the rest are also higher than the baseline. So frequency of extreme events from 2020 to 2020 and 2050, you see that the total number of days with maximum temperature are all higher than 35 degrees, are more than they are more than the baseline. So it is expected that the temperature will increase as time goes by. So in terms of this, how can we try to put our mitigation plans to reduce the building contributing to global temperature by introducing green infrastructure. As was mentioned earlier, they'll be introducing the green roof as well as the energy generation from solar panel.
We'll be discussing about the people part, and for this part we have included the following components. The UPLB students, UPLB faculty and staff being the major stakeholder of this project. Of course, the UPLB facilities, MSI community being the ones who will be displaced for the construction of the project. We have also included water and electricity, waste management, health, security, traffic, commercial establishments, and cultural issues. All right. So from the data that we have gathered from the Office of the University Registrar, it can be concluded that the enrollment data of UPLB from the period 2005 to 2016 has been increasing, and also the intake of new freshmen from 2005 to 2015 is also observed to be increasing. In the present condition, we have a total of 19 classrooms for large classes with capacity of 100 to 120 students, and small classrooms located in different colleges. That's why classes start as early as 7 a.m. and ends up to 7 p.m. And during examination periods, examinations are being held until 9 to 10 in the evening. But with the construction of the Global Academic Zone, specifically the Communal classroom, there will be 7 lecture halls with a capacity of 160 students, 11 seminar rooms with 40 seating capacity, and an estimated 5,000 students can be accommodated in this Communal classroom. So with that, it is estimated that around 2,000 people will be in the Communal classroom at one time. So in case of emergency, the mitigation measure is that there must be visible emergency exit maps and signages and escape plans. And this is going to be the responsibility of the UPLB, specifically the Occupational Health and Safety Standards Committee. Okay. We conducted a survey regarding the awareness of the students for this building of a Global Academic Zone, and more than 50% or more than half of the 100 students that we surveyed indicated that they are not aware of the construction. So for the mitigation measure, there should be wider information dissemination, and it is going to be the responsibility of the proponent. We also made a study on the perception of UPLB students regarding the sufficiency of spaces for holding activities, and we found out that majority of the students do not have enough spaces in the university where students can hold group activities. As to the perception of UPLB students on the effect of Global Academic Zone for learning, we found out that majority of the students thought that the new communal classroom will increase academic performance. They also thought that the new common learning areas will increase their academic performance, and that the university can deliver the objectives of the new educational system with the current facilities. Regarding the satisfaction level of UPLB students on facilities being used during the registration period, we found out that majority are not satisfied in terms of comfort and distance between offices. We also made a study on the attitude of the employees of the Office of the University Registrar regarding the Global Academic Zone, specifically their office. And majority of the OUR employees stated that there will be more quality service, there will be more interaction between staff and students, more interaction between staff and alumni, more interaction between other clienteles, and there's going to be improvement in the transactions at the Office of the University Registrar. And according to the employees of the OUR, their most preferred features of the new OUR office will be bigger records room, conference room, emergency exits, strong internet connection, and audiovisual room. This is the enrollment trend of the Makiling School. At present, last school year 2016-2017, they have a total of 550 students. And we took the perception of UPLB employees who have child or children studying in Makiling School. And the highlight of this perception study is that they strongly agree on the statement that the amount of time provided for MSI to be able to transfer is not sufficient, and that the Makiling School complex is a historical place that needs to be preserved. And lastly, the Makiling School to file a request for extension to stay in UPLB premises is reasonable. And so the mitigation for that observation is that for UPLB to, if possible, to provide assistance in terms of kind or financial aspect, and the retention of the MSI facade, which was taken into consideration by the architect who designed the perspective of the building.
Okay, for the waste management, in UPLB, wastes are segregated at the source according to biodegradables, recyclables, residuals, and toxic and hazardous waste. So the only types of waste that are being collected are recyclables, residuals. So the recyclables are being sold to accredited junk shops in the university. And then for the residuals, these are being collected, compacted, and processed, and then sent to the sanitary landfill in San Pedro, Laguna. And then for the toxic and hazardous wastes, these are being stored first, and then these are being collected every 5 years. So, for the UPLB waste characterization, most wastes in UPLB, both in the lower and the upper campus, are mostly food waste, plastic, and paper. And then for the composition, these are mostly non-biodegradables. For the share of the UPLB constituents, most waste come from the residential and institutions. So, we projected the possible increase in waste generation based on the 5,000 increase in UPLB students based on the study by Camus et al. So they generated or estimated the per capita waste generation, and we arrived at an estimate for increase in around 4,000 cubic meters waste generation per year, which is around 30% increase in waste in the current UPLB waste generation. So that is for the operation phase. For the pre-construction, which is the demolition, the construction and abandonment phase, the activities of demolition and construction works could possibly increase the risk from hazardous waste to the UPLB community. And for the mitigation, the hazardous waste should be collected and properly stored, and special handling if there are asbestos in the ceilings of the old MSI building. Then recyclables and reusable waste should be delivered in the materials recovery facility. Then for the operation phase, the use of the building, which will increase the waste generation and possibly increase the number of pests due to the increase in unhauled waste, could possibly also increase the health problems in UPLB. And the mitigation measures are increase in the capacity of the MRF, since most of the waste that could possibly be generated are recyclable waste, and then increase in the number of hauling trucks to avoid uncollected waste, and increase in number of waste bins for 4 types of waste, and then information campaign on waste management. And the university can also partner with groups or individuals who want to collect recyclables at the source, or those hand pickers at the university. And then we can also invest on water dispensers and wash areas for utensils to encourage students to bring their own water bottles and eating utensils inside the campus, and this would minimize the plastic usage. As for the health, according to the UHS, most of the diseases are diagnosed to the students and faculties are mostly lifestyle and age-related. and there are few cases of air-related diseases. So for the pre-construction and abandonment phase, the UHS identified some of the possible impacts of the demolition, which is increased incidence of allergies, tetanus, bronchitis, pneumonia, and other infections, which can be mitigated by securing permits and qualifications to work for the workers, and they should be provided with personal protective equipment, extra caution towards falling debris through wearing of masks, physical barriers in the site, and then signages, maintenance of machinery and equipment, and first aid kit inside the project area. For the operation phase, while using the building, so the increase in possible accidents and diseases due to the increase in number of students. For mitigation, first aid kit should be installed in areas which can be seen easily, and then fire and earthquake drills, provision of enough comfort rooms which are proportional to the population, and enough sanitary facilities. As for the structural design, the project design team should consider the health of students. For example, for the non-air conditioned rooms, this should be screened to protect the students from disease-causing insects like mosquitoes. For the security, so UPLB has increased its number of security personnel from 2008 by hiring CSPs, and then in 2010 by hiring blue guards. So the impacts that the team has identified for the security, the hiring of temporary laborers could possibly decrease the security due to temporary hiring of employees, which can be mitigated by securing the identification of all temporary employees and have a more strict screening of employees, especially that some of the activities for construction can be done during the night. For the use of the buildings, there can be decrease in security due to increase in UPLB population. So there should be hiring of more security personnel, which is proportional to the number of increased students. For the traffic in UPLB, so the project site will be located here, which is along the Kaliwa route, which is one of the busiest roads in the university. This figure just shows the route of the public utility vehicles. So the project site is also located in one of the PUB routes. So during the construction phase, the hauling of construction materials from the source could possibly increase the traffic congestion, obstruction on the road, and possibly affecting a span of half kilometer from the project site. For mitigation, there should be proper scheduling of hauling activities, which should be scheduled during non-peak hours. Then there can be alternate routing of vehicles. So for the operation phase, the increase in the number of students can also possibly increase the traffic congestion inside the impact area, which is a half kilometer span. So for mitigation, there should be strict implementation of traffic rules during operation for the loading and unloading zones from UP to the junction, and then bicycle lanes, bicycle racks for every building with proper security. So this map shows the impact area for the noise, which is 200 meters. So the impact area for the noise covers both the UPLB buildings and commercial buildings. Based on perception surveys, the use of heavy equipment for paving and excavation and other activities could possibly impact establishments through noise and air pollution. So mitigation, there should be use of physical barriers to decrease impacts of air and noise pollution, which is under the responsibility of the contractor. And there is no significant effect of noise and air pollution to the number of customers. During the operation, the identified impacts based on perception surveys are increases in number of businesses due to the increase in number of students, and then increase in number of establishments and employment, as well as business opportunity for the main building for the concession areas. For the conclusions, based on perceptions, the purpose of the project, which is developing an internationally premier academic institution to level with the global educational system, would be attained. The team identified significant possible impacts in the social and economic aspects of the project, specifically in addressing the lack of classrooms and better facilities. They need to address the following impacts on land, on water, on air, and on people. For the recommendations, identified stakeholders need to be informed and consulted on the project proposal at the earliest stage as per MC 2010-14. Any misconceptions should be clarified for stakeholders to be fully aware and informed about the reasons why the MSI location was chosen. Offer some assistance in the construction of the new MSI building and in sourcing out funds. Old MSI building should be retained due to its high cultural value. And then, the project management must ensure that all mitigation and enhancement measures for all the negative and positive impacts of the proposed project, especially those with significant risks, must be performed and satisfied. The Global Academic Zone has the potential to provide a conduit for the university's trilogy of function for instruction, extension, and research in terms of enhanced facilities that promote globally competitive and outcome-based educational system in harmony with the environment.